To start Quick Reader, double-click on the icon on the desktop. One quick reminder to the key commands and their associated icons. Transfer data from AFT recorder. Open a patient's file which has been registered or analyzed. Go to the electronic menu, which we recommend you to read. Then click on the OK button to run the program. Quick Reader provides a very comprehensive working screen. The layout and content have been studied to avoid possible spread across multiple screens. You will be more familiar with this program once after we go through the tutorial. The main screen is consisted of several windows. The commands are grouped in a classic menu and the icons corresponding to the most frequently used ones. ECG in traditional format or miniature. ECG parameters adjustment table, gain and speed. The trend table is shown by default in the form of 6 24-hour trends. ECG samples, whose content depends on the context. The commands are active when you analyze a file. We're going to open a file on your PC hard drive. Click on the icon Open a File. A list of current patients in the subdirectory QRExamples is displayed. Double-click on the name of a patient to open the file. Identification box, click OK, and the patient data will be displayed on the screen. The trends are displayed by default with the 6 24-hour trends. Each band will be therefore 0 hour on the left, midnight on the right. The date is displayed on the left. The patient has a trend that starts at 11:20 on July 22nd and ends at 10:53 on July 23rd. The time slider is positioned at the beginning. When opening a patient's file already analyzed, Quick Reader goes into heart rate and print samples. The goal is to provide immediate heart rate trend and the event selected for printing. In this mode, the trends are plotted by green arrows, which corresponding to a sample. Thus, we immediately locate the position of these samples over time. The top 10 appears in miniature on the right window. Use the Quick Reader interactivity. Click with the left mouse button. On a green arrow, we can see the corresponding ECG. The yellow arrow corresponds to the minimum heart rate, and the right arrow to the maximum heart rate. The trends show specific icons for each arrhythmia. By clicking above, you can see the corresponding ECG appear. The meaning of these icons is noted in the menu. To access, simply click on the question mark. Their shape and color are distinctive. Small blue strokes for supraventricular premature beats and red strokes for ventricular beats. Tulip with 2 petals for couplets. The blue ones facing up are for the supraventricular, and the red ones facing down are for the ventricular. Tulip with 3 petals for runs. The blue ones facing up are for the supraventricular, and the red ones facing down are for the ventricular. The small yellow fork is for the missed beats, and in the larger one, it's for the pauses. Lines of different colors are for sustained arrhythmias. Yellow is associated to bradycardia. Each click can update the 10 samples on the right, corresponding to the 10 samples that follows the cursor. By clicking on a sample, we can transfer it to the ECG window. By clicking on the button Display Next, then it shows the following 10 samples if they exist. Quick Reader also has the function to move from event to event using the List tool. The list shows all the events. Those current events in the recording are marked with a star, and their occurrence is indicated in the brackets. After having chosen the event, it leads to display the first event following the cursor. Use the right and left buttons located below to go to the next and previous event. On ECG window, there are several ways of using it. By clicking on the mini ECG located underneath, whose duration is sustainably 1 minute, if you see an interesting event, click on it and you will immediately see it enlarged in the ECG window. Press the right arrow to forward 1 period. The first QRS is therefore replaced by the following. Holding down the right arrow button, then you will get a superimposition mode. In this mode, by default, the 2 sample time used for measuring the ST segment are shown as 2 red bars, one before the QRS and one after it. Press the left arrow to go back 1 second. The up arrow and down arrow button are to move forward and backward 1 minute. You can quickly scan a period of time by simply looking at the miniature line and click on any passage that appears to be interesting. The page up and down button are used to go forward or backward 5 minutes. The ECG can be set at different levels. Adjust the vertical position of each channel. Adjust the gain. Adjust the speed. Switch to miniature mode by clicking on M. Switch back to normal mode by clicking on N. The command Advanced allowed access to special settings. Filter, inverter track, adjusting the gain function of speed. We measure time and amplitude by dragging between 2 points. Both values will appear and remain as long as we do not refresh the ECG. Icon transfer data recordings from AFT to PC. This operation can be done after connecting AFT recorder to PC. There's more details of this in the video, Analyze a Holter Recording. Icon open a patient file. It provides access to the list of patients, which can be sorted by date, by name, by referee, or by status. The indicated subdirectory can be modified. It allows creating patient categories by year, by referee, by pathology. This list is associated with a database that allows you to research easily on patients with a particular disease. With this list, you can send a patient file via internet and generally manage patient's file. Please remember particularly to do regular backups, because there's always the risk of data losing. Access to patient data. This dialog box contains all the patient data, including the parameters of the analysis, or arrhythmia detection, and of ST segment measurements. You can access it from the start or at any moment in order to complete or modify a parameter. In the same box, you can also specify the pathology identified to the patient, which is useful to sort the database. Icon application settings. This dialog box shows the subdirectories of the application, and it reads the USB key, so you can check the options provided by your key. Icon display configuration. Set your display preferences. The line thickness of the ECG signal, displayed elements, 3D ECG perspective used in the classification, or the histogram's color range. Display trends. Command to return to the standard display trends. Icon QRS classification display graphic. This graph shows scatter plots for the characteristic of QRS detection. It provides to visualize any area of the QRS to the 3D view, and possibly correct their classification. More detailed description of this tool can be found in the video Analyze a Holter Recording. Icon viewing the RR histogram. The histogram can show 4 categories of QRS in 4 colors. Green is for supraventricular beats, red is for ventricular beats, orange for fusion or aberrant condition beats, and blue for pace beats. By default, it presents recording data through the entire duration to perform global searches. You can choose a particular time period or to view only certain types of QRS. In all cases, you can click on columns or drag a series of RR to see the corresponding QRS in 3D ECG and in the samples. The QRS can be relabeled if necessary. The RR histogram is a great way to search for pathologic episodes and to assess heart rate. We attained the shortest RR and the longest RR. We can study the ventricular premature beat in function of their coupling time. Finally, the histogram calculates some elements of heart rate variability, standard deviation, and a P&N50. The magnifying glass can magnify any area of any trend. You can then see in detail of those changes in heart rate and the icons that represent the arrhythmia. To print, go to Print dialog box. Select the parts of report you wish to print. Change some certain parameters like period time references, when the recording lasts for several days, or the vertical position of ECG signals in the samples, or to print a particular part that you have selected. Use a print program in PDF can easily create reports in electronic form that you can archive and send to your correspondents. The manual is available at any time, and we invite you to read it and learn more about the program. The menu includes all the command icons. It also gives access to previewing the report. This is very useful before printing. Internet importation. How does it work in detail? Please see video for the experts. ISHNE digital format importation and exportation, which are well-standardized digital ECG signal format, making it possible to exchange with other applications. Analysis results exportation. RR intervals, results for specific studies. If the analysis is not performed properly, it is possible to restart completely by using the command remake complete analysis. The ST analysis can also be performed from manual analysis after having verified the ECG sample points. The contextual commands. These are menus that appear depending on the context and the mouse button. In the trends, the right mouse button displays the list of possible trends and some commands. Erasing data between caliper 1 and caliper 2 It is possible to erase a time interval that is densely populated by artifacts, heart rate trends, and all the events found. This command also launches a rhythm recalculation to update the data in case of correction made previously. Trend displayed of ST segment elevation after analysis of the later one, and the detected crisis according to the criteria defined in the dialog of patient identification. Display of cardiac stimulation intervals. Trends for T waves and P waves, if the option exists. Display of environmental data, battery voltage, impedance of ECG cables, case temperature, spatial position. The impedance of the cable can give a very clear idea of the period when device has been carried or taken off. In ECG, the right button allows either to choose the ECG samples to print with the command of your choice and a priority level from 1 to 4, corresponding to the print order, and allowing you to put the most important event at first, or to reclassify all the QRS of sample with a given label. The left button is used, as said before, for measuring amplitude and time. However, if you click on the top, in the stripe of labels, you will have access either to local reclassification menu or to insert a QRS if you click a bit further away on the strip. In the samples, the left button selects the one that is pointed, which appears highlighted. The command Select All is for the selection of the current samples. The right buttons allow access to contextual commands. Selection of display track. Select/deselect to print the pointed sample. A default command is automatically inserted. Deselect all samples for printing, except for the maximum heart rate and the minimum heart rate. Change the command and the priority. Place all selected ECG as artifacts. All the highlighted samples are erased. It is a very fast way to remove false detections. Place all the samples as artifacts and go to the following. Reserve for the moments of very poor quality. But this quick erase is performed under the control and avoid missing a very important event easily. Automatic deletion eliminates RR circles individuals. The explanation is given in the video for the experts.